Hello, this is Francis Crucci, Superintendent of the Bowling Green City Schools. In the past few days, you may have received a mailer from the Wood County Citizens Against Higher Property Taxes. I want to take a few moments to correct some of the inaccuracies in the mailer so that you as voters have the correct information when you go to the polls on November 7th. How is this consolidation different? This is not a consolidation of multiple districts. The design of the proposed elementary creates the school within a school concept for all of our elementary students grades K through 5. It is designed to have separate wings for K1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, each with its unique learning attributes based on age and needs of students. The National Association of Elementary School Principals defines a small school as the type of school within a school that employs faculty and staff brought in from elsewhere in the district rather than from the larger school. Stuart Grauer states the sense of connectedness in small schools is not only felt and shared among students, it is also shared by virtually all stakeholders and in particular with teachers. This is the exact plan for the Bowling Green City Schools. Other advantages of our campus design is the creation of true professional learning communities where our teachers can collaborate and pool resources to best meet the needs of our students. Despite our best efforts to coordinate staff, current structures and physical separation impede the ability for teachers to truly collaborate. With over 42 years of research and practices, authors Rick and Becky DeFore cite professional learning communities as the top strategy for increasing academic achievement and improving school culture. Additionally, time and time again, teachers cite working collaboratively as their top form of professional development. School safety is always a priority in the Bowling Green City Schools. Many of you know this to be true as you've generously contributed to our Adopt a Door and Boot campaign. Here you can see on the left all of the categories that the state of Ohio uses for discipline. On the right are the actual numbers from the Bowling Green City Schools. As you can see, our district is neither violent or ridden with weapons. In fact, there were no reported offenses in any of our elementary schools. Zero. None. There is no reason for us to suspect that because we move to school within a school that we will have increases, let alone significant increases in our offenses that involve school safety. Bowling Green City Schools have always been good stewards of our public resources. In this picture, you can see that the Bowling Green City Schools dedicate 71% of its per pupil spending to classroom instruction. The term classroom instruction includes instruction, pupil support services, and instructional staff support services. This figure puts the Bowling Green City Schools, out of 109 schools, 16th compared to similarly sized districts and ahead of the state, demonstrating the importance of instruction in our classrooms. The Bowling Green City Schools spend $8,555 on per pupil spending versus the state average of $91.50. You can see in this picture again that the Bowling Green City Schools spend more money on average on instruction than other costs. Non-classroom spending consists of general and school administration, other and non-specified support services, operations and maintenance of facilities, pupil transportation, and non-instructional food services. When considering spending for local versus state, it is important to note that the state has a funding formula that determines the amount of money that is allocated to each district for spending. According to the state of Ohio, Bowling Green is an affluent school district, which results in a higher percentage of funds needing to be raised from the local tax base. As you can see in this illustration, the 57% that comes from local is correct compared to the 39.7% in the state. This is again because of our perceived wealth, we do not receive as much money from state funding. In this comparison, the state gives 45.5% on average to districts across the state, while Bowling Green only qualifies for 31.8, again, because of our perceived wealth. It was stated in the flyer that these numbers were the state numbers were based on the state average. As you can see, this is the state total. So when comparing the $19 million that the school raises in funds from local taxes, it was stated that we spent $10 million, or we raised $10 million more than the state. However, this number is $9 billion and was mistaken for $9 million. So that would have been a difference of $10 million. Unfortunately, this is the state total, not the state average. To further illustrate the affluency of our district, the state average of 45% versus the 31.8 is a difference of 13.7%, or, get ready for this, $3.5 million difference. Significant. Many people have asked, what makes an affluent district? The state funding formula considers three things: the 3-year average of federal adjusted gross income, the 3-year average of total real estate valuation, and the 3-year average of the agricultural real estate valuation. These three are combined to create the state share index, which determines the amount of money districts receive from the state of Ohio. This chart shows some of our local districts and their state shared index. The number that you see essentially equates to pennies on the dollar. For example, Bowling Green City Schools receives 32 cents for each state dollar. That makes us 519th out of 609 school districts, or in the top 100 most affluent districts. When we receive the $6,000 per student per year, you have to multiply the 32%. And so what we essentially receive is $1,920 and not the $6,000 per student. This chart shows the per pupil spending by district. As you can see, Bowling Green is next to last in this comparison. The district has been accused of out-of-control spending, and as you can see, this simply isn't true. In fact, the Bowling Green City Schools have not asked voters for new money since November of 2010, which was a $1 million emergency operational levy. I believe this demonstrates that we are in fact capable of effectively managing our taxpayers' money, and we certainly do. We thank you for your continued support and for listening to this brief description of our school funding and spending. We encourage you to get out to vote on November the 7th with the correct information. And as always, Bobcat proud.